Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Shooting the Breeze. We are starting a little late tonight just because there was other things that had to happen before this. But hey, glad to be back. As usual, I'm Soda, as joined by Ben, and we are joined by one of our favorite people in the world, Mr. 50 Shades of Geek himself. How you doing, my brother?
I think you should take another look at the name.
Yeah, let's get rid of. You know what? Just for tonight, let's get rid of that. And that didn't work. There we go.
There we go.
50 Shades of Pokemon. Well, that kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to talk about. 50, if you would like to introduce the topic.
Okay, so this Saturday is the 25th anniversary of Pokemon.
Doesn't it make you feel old?
Not until you mentioned it just now. It was more like a feeling of we made it this far.
Okay. I do have a question about this, though. So is it 25th anniversary from when it first debuted in Japan?
Yes.
Okay. Now, another question. Did you, in Israel, because I know us in North America, we got it like a year, maybe two later. Was that the same case for you guys in Israel?
Well, obviously I was 5, so can barely remember.
But you know your history.
Well, let's see. If it was 1996 and I was 5, that must have been like 98. So, yeah, a little bit after North America.
Okay.
Okay.
And so what is it about Pokemon that just sucked you right in?
Well, obviously, it's cute creatures. Obviously, I'm a pet guy. Obviously, I mean, I'm saying obviously a lot. But, yeah, I lost my dog, my beloved dog, Sandy, after 16 years. I mean, thank you for the shot. I've been a lover of pets and a lover of animals ever since I was a little kid. And the idea of little pocket animals that can talk and that you can carry around in these little capsules and, just bond with and battle with. I don't know. There's just something that really draws out the pet lover in me and the animal lover in me. And then obviously these creatures are highly imaginative. I mean, the first of all, just an example of Pikachu is just an electric mouse. Like, how often do you get to say that, an electric mouse?
I was about to ask what exactly is he, but there you go. He's a mouse.
Yeah, he's a mouse. And a lot of Pokemon have several different inspirations all at once, like mashed together. Like, let me just give you a random example, but probably should have been more prepared for this before doing this. But I'm gonna go with a more recent one from the more recent generations. There we go. Oops, hold on. I'm nailing this, by the way. Yeah, I got the name wrong.
Ah.
And you always gotta make sure to get the names right. Okay, so can I screen share, please?
Yeah, once it pops up, I will share it. Don't worry about that.
Okay, here we go. Screen share. Okay, so are you seeing this? Hold on.
Yes.
If you had to take a guess, what would you say this is?
Well, based on the name, it sounds like it's an amalgamation of a dragon and a catapult.
Yes. Aside from that.
It looks like it has it's a glider for a head.
It's a stealth plane. And I don't know if you can see, but these are its babies. And it basically shoots babies like missiles.
His babies are missiles.
Yes. He shoots out its babies as missiles. Kind of like an actual stealth airplane. He's got a little runway on his on his belly. And the entire shape of the animal is an extinct animal. I can't remember the name of the animal in particular, but it's an extinct animal. It's dead. It's a ghost dragon type That's why its tail is so transparent, and that's why it's a stealth plane because it's stealthy. It's very ghost-like. That was just a random example that I was able to pull out, and that's just a recent one. It's been going on for a very long time. So basically,
I was saying, it really makes you wonder just how good the drugs are in Japan. Like, I mean, how do you think of something like that?
I don't know. Like sometimes it feels like they just take two random things that have a slight connection to each other and then just mash them together. Now I'm going to give you. This was a good example of Pokemon. I'm going to give you a not so good example, but you can kind of guess where they were going with this. Okay, are you ready for this?
Ready as I'll ever be.
This is a French-inspired Pokemon. Now, just try to think of all the French inspirations you can see in this Pokemon for a second, and maybe you can guess what this Pokemon is supposed to be.
Okay.
It's called Aromatisse.
So I'm seeing a possum, an owl, a can dancer. Am I even close?
Well, you got one of those right.
The can?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the reason I'm saying the owl is because of the eyes.
Okay, that's fair, but it's not an owl.
Okay.
It is owl resemblant. First of all, this is the pre-evolved form, and let me just say, it's supposed to be a perfume bottle.
Really?
As a fairy. This is a much larger. It's kind of got the shape of the French perfume bottles, but the main inspiration is as you said, a can dancer and a plague doctor. That's why it's got the long.
I would not have thought plague doctor.
Yes, it's a can dancer, plague doctor. Two things very iconically French, and the one thing connecting them is good smell, because the reason why the plague doctors had that long mask is because they had good smell perfumes.
I had no idea that was a French thing. The plague doctor
was all over Europe, obviously, but the French are the most notorious for using that.
Okay. I thought it was Britain, but fair point.
Yeah,
I mean,
look at the new Beauty and the Beast. They added a whole subplot.
And then that was a French setting for that movie.
Yep.
And like I said, the main connectivity was the good smell, because they thought that good smells help repel the plague. They were wrong, obviously, but still.
A plague doctor outfit itself looks like something you'd see in Pokemon.
Yes. Exactly. And they decided to take these two things that are completely on opposite sides of the same spectrum, which is a smell, but they mashed them together into a Pokemon that sort of makes sense. So
you've mentioned to me before, like obviously we're all familiar with Ash Ketchum, I mean, as you're wearing his hat, but you said he wasn't the original antagonist. Protagonist, yes. Antagonist is the bad guy.
So
sorry.
The main protagonist is I'm actually wearing him right now. It is a character called Red, and it's a character that Ash Ketchum was loosely based on. And obviously, the name of the first two games, the American versions, obviously, are Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah.
Ben knows because Ben played.
You know what, Tiffany? I wanted to. I've been meaning to tell you. I'm starting to play again. I got an old Pokemon Red, and I started playing again. Yep.
This is Red. This is the main character. You can definitely see the resemblance to Ash Ketchum. Even he has a Pikachu, but that's mostly because Ash has a Pikachu in the anime, so they kind of made Pikachu one of Red's canon Pokemon.
It might seem like a dumb question then. So the protagonist of Pokemon Blue, his name is Blue?
No, it was Red for both games. Blue is the name of the rival.
Oh, okay. So
which is the name of the character that Gary from the anime is based on. Gary is Ash's main rival.
So you're gonna have to answer me this, because I know I obviously
this is Blue.
Oh, okay. I recognize him. No, I was gonna say, like, obviously we're the same age and stuff, so I'm familiar when the games come out. they release 2 to 3 games at the exact same time. Why is that? Are these games interconnected?
That is where the genius of the Pokemon Company comes in. They always release 2 versions at the same time: red and blue, gold and silver.
Yeah.
X and Y, which are going to more recent stuff. They went once they ran out of colors eventually. The reason for that is that the stories are mostly the same for most of the generations, but the thing is, the slight differences are version exclusive Pokemon that you can find in one game, but not the other. And the whole point is, got to catch them all. You got to get both versions to have them all.
It's like console exclusives for other games. Okay, that makes more sense now.
It was the original intention was that kids would trade Pokemon with their friends and sort of kind of take it to the playground.
Ben, you remember that, connecting your Game Boy with the cord? You remember
Absolutely.
that?
I did that all the time. Me and my brother and my friends, we did that a lot.
I didn't, but I definitely knew a lot of kids that did.
See, that was the original intention. Of course, what eventually happened is people bought 2 consoles and traded with themselves.
Yeah,
so that's another way to make money. But
pretty much,
they were basically Apple before Apple was Apple. If that makes sense.
That's one of the things that kind of astounds me. That even back then in '96, not only they thought of an idea like that, but there was actually the technology was there, and you can actually transfer characters essentially from one game console to another. And obviously now it's.
I just wanted to say I liked the animation of when you did plug it in. And it didn't always work. Not for me anyway. But when it did work. I like seeing the animation of the Pokemon leaving one Game Boy and going to the other Game Boy. It was really
They still have that bit of animation, just a little bit more modern looking with the more modern games. Nowadays you can do it over the internet. You don't need the cables anymore. I mean, you can do that in Pokemon Go also.
Yeah.
But
so how has, besides graphics, how has Pokemon evolved over the years?
Well, for starters, story. The story quality has improved. Like, they went from just the regular story of a kid from a small town going up to beating all the strongest trainers in the area, occasionally dealing with the mafia, eventually taking down the local mafia, and then eventually catching an experiment gone wrong as a Pokemon. Then it just sort of expanded. Like, the legendary Pokemon have also got much more creative. Like, it went from just being 3 random birds that just happen to be somewhere that you run into them throughout the story. It went to just godlike forces of nature, and it actually became a part of the plot that those forces of nature wake up, they start destroying the world, and it's up to you to stop them somehow as a character. Eventually, obviously, they added like time travel and multiple universes into the main story. It just sort of, like, the MCU, it started with a small contained story in Iron Man, and 10 years later it became Infinity War and Endgame. That's the sort of progression you can expect from a long-running franchise like Pokemon, for example.
Has Red been the protagonist the whole time, or have they introduced newer protagonists?
Interesting question. He was the only protagonist in the first generation, but he's also the only protagonist that actually returned in multiple games. Like, every game, there's a different protagonist and antagonist. He's the only one that actually returned in the Generation 2 games, and more recently in the Generation 6 games, as an older 20-year-old.
Oh, okay.
And also Blue, I believe, came back in those games also. But this all kind of goes back to the whole sort of criticism that Game Freak is constantly getting, that they always give so much focus to Generation 1, and it's understandable why they would do that. Obviously, they're feeling nostalgic, but also a lot of people grew up with the Generation 1 Pokemon, and a lot of fans just didn't continue after that.
Yeah,
I'm one of them.
Where I'm at, because I played a little bit at that time, so my knowledge is Charizard, Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Mew, Mewtwo, all those things, right? So I'm in that boat.
That's why those specific Pokemon you've mentioned, Game Freak, the developers are trying to shove those Pokemon into almost every game now. Since like Generation 6, they try to put a lot of focus on those Pokemon to kind of try to find a way to get these older fans that grew out of the franchise back into it. Doesn't always work, and the main result is people just getting a little too bitter about Generation 1, saying that they're basically just suckers for Gen 1, or just trying to play on people's nostalgia and stuff. But
everything else today.
But I mean, it's a business. They're doing what they think is best for the business, and if they think trying to get those older fans back into the franchise as opposed to trying to make new fans, they feel like that was what they needed to do, then good for them. I guess.
I'm not against it, like not at all. I am a fan, like trying to get people back into the game, no problem. It's to me, it is different than, like, for example, Ben and I were talking off air about how they announced a Rugrats revival on Paramount Plus. I'm like, leave that alone, like come up with something new. But in a case like this, where you're trying to attract older fans, you're bringing in things from the past. I get that, because you're doing integration instead of an actual revival.
Because it's unlike Rugrats. Rugrats kind of stopped and ended at some point. Pokemon has been around, like, cyclically. Every like, for the last decade or so, every year was a new Pokemon game. Like, a lot of them were remakes, obviously, but every year it was a new game. Also, to go back to the question you asked earlier, they always released 2 versions, but for the first 4 generations, they always had a third version that kind of took the best elements from both, because a lot of the first 2 versions were kind of buggy and a little half-baked, let's put it that way. The third version was always like the complete versions, but they
why they call it Pokemon Green, because it's Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue. They sit together, you get green.
Interestingly enough, that wasn't the third version. It was yellow because Pikachu was popular.
Okay, fair point. And I do remember all of the like exclusive Game Boy consoles you could get and all that stuff. Oh yeah.
I have a question, Tiffany. Have you been watching the show since it started, and is it still going on?
First of all, it is still going on. They're like up to season 24, I believe. But the thing is, I watched from basically episode 1 all the way to like season 4 or 5, and that was when, because the anime is always behind the game, especially the dubbed version, because the Japanese version comes out first concurrently with the games, and then it lasts for like 3 seasons, and like every 3 years there's a new game. So you get 3 seasons of the anime from the most recent game that came out, and then they just move on to the next game. By the time they already get caught up with the new games, they start pumping out the next game, because like I said, a game every single year. It's a factory basically. So by the time I reached this 4th or 5th season of the anime, that was when the 3rd generation games came out, and that was when things started to get a little out of hand for me, and I was like one of those people who just dropped off because I couldn't really get on board with stuff.
This is just after a while you get a feeling of oversaturation of the market. It's kind of like Assassin's Creed did something similar. It was like every year there was a game, but unfortunately the games were getting worse and worse every year. And then they took a couple years off, and then they came out with Origins, which was an amazing game.
And I'm sure I don't have anything to back this up, but I'm sure that movie didn't help anyway.
But play those games, man. They were garbage.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And I think that hiatus happened. The movie happened during that hiatus, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
And it came just in time, I guess.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was about to say, it wasn't like an oversaturation. It was like it was too different. Something that I didn't see coming. At first, I didn't really get on board with all the new Pokemon designs.
Yeah.
And I just dropped off for like a decade and a half, I think. And then oddly enough, once the Detective Pikachu trailer started coming out, I kind of started, the spark was rekindled in me, just like I clearly done with Ben, just from being around me, and I started going back into the franchise, and I just started rewatching the anime from episode 1. Right now, I'm all the way up to season 16, I believe. That's the beginning of the second generation. And I think I mentioned this before. Okay, so here's the long story, and I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. All the Generation 1 to Generation 5 were on emulators, meaning you can buy an emulator from an app store and play those games.
I remember.
Now, the Generation 6 and onwards, they're just too advanced. You just can't do that. I mean, at least not with anything that I had access to. So what I needed to do is I needed to buy a legitimate 3DS console to be able to play Gen 6 and Gen 7 games. I ordered one online. It was in Japanese with no way of changing the language. So what I did is I ordered one from the United States. Here's the catch. It came with no battery, and the charger that they gave me isn't compatible with the charger ports in Israel. So I needed to order a cable that can charge it with a USB port.
Jesus.
And it was lost in the mail after 2 months.
It's like the universe didn't want you to play.
Yeah, so I ordered it again. And now, thankfully, I got my cable, and I ordered the game, and playing it right now. Pokemon X. Took a while, but I finally got there. Now I can actually finish the games that I missed out on because I took a much long and needed hiatus from the franchise. But, yeah.
So I'm on the Wikipedia page, and I was looking. They say Pokemon Sun and Moon and Pokemon Journeys are alternate continuity. So is that like a multiverse thing, Elseworlds thing? Like, what does that mean?
The Pokemon multiverse is very complicated. The way I believe they explained it is every single save file is a new Earth, essentially, in the multiverse. So if, let's say, I get the same game as Ben on 2 different consoles, we're both playing it, his Earth was like Earth 1 and mine was like Earth 2. So basically trading Pokemon from my console to his console is like they're traveling through universes, essentially. And if I were to delete my save file and start a new one, that's a brand new Earth. So basically, the anime in and of itself is its own separate universe. And pretty much you could argue that every single season of the anime is a different universe by that logic. Because once you say something like that, like, where does it end? Like, if everyone there's like, it really is a multiverse. It's endless worlds.
That's actually
like even the movies, like the Pokemon movies, each one could be set in a different continuity. Like, they try to establish sort of connection between the original Kanto games and the Detective Pikachu movie, but for all we know, those are 2 completely separate Earths, 2 completely separate continuities. Even the first 19 movies were like a continuation of the anime. Then they started kind of rebooting it, and now it's doing their own thing with their own series of movies. It's like I said, it's a complicated thing. But
sorry, how many movies?
They have 21 or 22. I can't remember.
Oh,
right.
Most of them are
apparently 23.
Okay. So a movie every season, basically.
Dear Lord.
But don't worry, most of them are direct-to-video. Most of them are good, but most of them are direct-to-video. Only a handful are theatrically released.
Yeah, I was gonna say I only recall ever seeing a few come to theaters, like Pokemon the movie 2000, Pokemon 3. I remember those.
And I think the first 5 or 6 movies were theatrically released.
Huh.
wow.
Damn.
So yeah.
You know, I'm going to ask you. Which Pokemon gave you the hardest time to catch, but the best feeling when you didn't catch it in the game? You have one of those.
The hardest to catch? I mean, it's a pretty generic answer, but and it kind of sucks because it's a Pokemon I love, but it gave me so much problems that I kind of started to dislike it a little bit. And it's a Pokemon that I think you might recognize because it was in one of the theatrically released movies. It is this one, Entei.
Oh,
Okay.
It was heavily featured in one of the movies. Now, here's the thing: it's first of all, it's a legendary Pokemon, so obviously it's difficult to catch.
yeah.
But not only that, it's a roaming legendary Pokemon, which
Yeah.
is the worst kind of Pokemon, a legendary Pokemon. Basically, what it is, a roaming legendary. It's a Pokemon that you encounter like once in like as part of the story, and then it just runs around. It travels across the region and goes wherever it wants. Sometimes you run into it, and once you run into it, you only have one shot of catching it before it runs away again.
Well, forgive me, maybe I'm remembering wrong. I'm going to say that's why you hold on to your one basketball that you get, right? That really
That's
don't have to really.
a lot of people do that. A lot of other people try to save their master ball for a Pokemon that not a roaming legendary, but like a shiny that you want to catch, and it's like seconds away from dying. And if he dies, you can't catch it. So a lot of people save their master balls for emergencies like this. But specifically with this Pokemon, I tried to catch it multiple times, and it just kept running away from me. And the worst part about Entei, not only is it's a roaming legendary, so you see it once, you either throw a Pokeball at it, try to attack it, lower its HP, which is then continued on the next time you see it. Doesn't reset back to the full HP, so it's easy to catch it. But you either do that or you try to catch it. You gotta choose both. So what a lot of people do is they use Pokemon that have an attack called Mean Look, or Pokemon with the ability Arena Trap or Shadow Tag. Basically, what these things do, they prevent an enemy Pokemon from escaping. Here's where Entei becomes even more frustrating, though. It has access to an attack called Roar, and Roar basically makes you run away. So if you can use Mean Look all you like, you can throw Pokeballs at it all day. As soon as it decides that it has had enough of you, it just roars at you and goodbye. So then I finally cracked up and I said, okay. I tried it 50, 60 times. I don't know how many times I tried it. I just kept on playing the game. I waited till I got the Master Ball. Then I went around and look for it and just caught it with a Master Ball because I've had it up to here with this thing. But,
speaking of Pokeballs, do you guys know I have an accidental Pokemon tattoo?
You're gonna need to explain that.
Okay. So I'm assuming you two recognize.
Not on your bot, is it? Oh,
you guys recognize that, right?
whoa! I can see. Yeah, I can see that. That's the symbol from Smallville. But
But when I do that, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hear.
Yeah, I was like, son of a bitch.
Sometimes you find these things in the most unlikely of places.
Yeah.
When did you start? When did you actually notice that?
Sorry?
When did you actually notice that?
It was probably a couple months after I got the tattoo. Actually, somebody pointed it out to me.
It's one of those things that once you see it, you can never unsee it.
Exactly.
I guess that's like the Smallville creators throwing a nod out in Pokemon, maybe. I don't know.
No, I doubt it. I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is a happy accident.
Yeah, it's a happy accident, like Matt said.
I think I have a new nickname for Ben now, Wild Theory.
Bring it on. I like that.
The Wild Theory hot take.
Yeah, the Wild Theory, Ben Wild Theory Rainer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, baby. I will live up to that name.
You boy, does he ever, folks.
Hey!
I'm kidding.
Just like you are, Matt. Fair enough, Majot.
Exactly.
So, by the way, I noticed that none of you guys have talked, even addressed the Pikachu that's in the room, because I went and bought this thing today, specifically for the show. I thought it was ridiculous that I don't have a single Pokemon plushie in my apartment, and it was kind of weird to me. And I said, "Well, this is the 25th anniversary of the franchise. We're gonna talk about it for the entire show. Might as well get this one."
Okay.
You know what, Vinny? Honest God, truth. Don't take this the wrong way, but it looks like it's always been so well in your room.
Sorry, you got cut off. One of the. I didn't hear.
It looks like it's always been there because it goes so well in your room.
It looks like it's always there. It doesn't look like it's something new.
Oh well, that's
I
great.
honestly assumed you had it as well.
Well, I guess you know me better than I thought you did.
But I do have a question. What is your? I'm assuming you have other Pokemon memorabilia, because I know you got your cap shields and all that stuff. If you do, what is your favorite Pokemon thing besides that?
I have, well, obviously, like the hat, but I mean, a lot of the Pokemon stuff that I had stayed at my mom's house, and it's probably like in storage and stuff. So I don't even know if she still had it. I don't even know if she sold it or anything. But obviously, the T-shirt, which I got in Turkey on one of my trips, they went for the medical surgery. I mean, I love this T-shirt; it's great. But yeah, as far as Pokemon memorabilia, I don't really have a lot. Like back when the original Pokemania stuff happened, I used to have a lot. Like I remember this. This is so ridiculous. They used to give like Pokemon plushies with keychains for when you go to a gas station to fill up your car with gas. And I was basically just sending my mom out to go to the gas station just so that I can get the Pokemon plushies. And it was like every time we drove by a gas station, I was like, "Hey mom, do you need to fill up the gas?" No. Okay.
Did you catch them all?
Unfortunately, no. There was like 8 of them. I had maybe 5.
Bummer.
Let me ask you guys this. I wonder know from both of you, because these things were big in the U.S. 25 years ago. Did you guys have Pogs?
Yeah,
I never understood Pogs, but I had a big collection.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I never understood how to play that game.
Me neither. I didn't remember I had a butt. I didn't have a butt from Pokemon, and I had a butt from Power Rangers once.
I had Alf.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had some Alf ones.
I only had a butt of Power Rangers playing cards.
Apparently, Pogs is still a fucking thing.
Are they? Wow.
I never knew how to play the game either. I just collected them for fun. But in any case,
oh wow!
Holy nice!
Holy nice, yeah. Behold my precious collection.
Maybe that's the game. Maybe
you're not
it's so confusing. No one can figure out how to play. But they kept buying it for some reason.
Well, it's based off of an actual game called Milk Caps. Like I'm reading up on it right now, but I'm pretty surprised you still have your collection. I think mine got.
They're my precious. I think I vaguely remember you put some of them on the ground and then you just slap the ground and try to flip them with like the wind from the impact of your hands, and if they flip over, you take the one that were flipped. I don't know. It's a confusing game.
Okay, so this is the rules for Milk Cats, which, from what I'm reading, is the same freaking thing. Except we had little cartoons on ours. Rules vary among players, but the game variants generally have common gameplay features. Each player has their own collection of Milk Caps, Pogs, and one or more Slammers. Before the game, players decide whether or not to play for keeps, which I'm assuming you guys all know. So the game can then begin as follows. 1. The players each contribute an equal number of milk caps to build a stack with the pieces face down, which will be used during the game. 2. The players take turns throwing their slammer down onto the top of the stack, causing it to spring up and the milk caps to scatter. Each player keeps all milk caps that land face up after they have thrown. 3. After each throw, the milk caps which have landed face down are then restacked for the next player. And then 4. When no milk caps remain in the stack, the player with the most pogs is the winner.
Huh. And I don't remember them giving a slammer with these. So we just use our hands. That's why.
It was like a poker chip.
Yeah.
Huh. In any case, these came with potato chips bags, and I guess this explains this. That's why I have so many of these.
I'm with you, brother.
And I can tell you this: it still has the smell of potato chips.
Oh boy!
20 years later.
Okay, what does that one smell like? What flavor?
It smells like potato chips.
Yeah, but what flavor?
The regular kind. That's the one I usually eat. It's only once I became older that I started enjoying other flavors. But basically, I didn't really care too much about the flavor. All I cared about was these, which, as you can see, I still have in abundance.
Okay, random question. We're talking potato chips. What is your favorite choice?
Mine? Whole barbecue Dorito chips.
Pepsi?
Oh,
to be honest,
I do want to throw out a special mention because I know they don't have them outside of Canada. Ketchup chips.
Nice.
That sounds cool.
They're really good. Lay's ketchup chips are amazing.
To be honest, once they stopped giving these away, I stopped eating potato chips. Nowadays, I'm more of a Pringles guy.
Okay.
And my favorite is the barbecue flavor.
I tried honey mustard Pringles and Wendy's Baconator Pringles a couple weeks ago.
Two kinds I don't think I have in here.
Not bad. The honey mustard ones are really good.
I like Cool Ranch.
That's probably the flavor I've eaten the least. We get it up here. I don't remember having it. Now I want some chips. Damn it!
Yeah.
Back on that stuff.
That's one of the many things that can happen on this show, Shooting the Breeze.
Yes.
By the way, I forgot to mention I was going somewhere, and then the conversation sort of just somehow got derailed. So I mentioned I went to get this. I just went to the mall to do something else, but I just saw this and I said I'm going to need this for the show. So I went and bought it right after I got myself this because why not? I was already in the area.
Lion King into the show.
Yeah, that's my Lion King mention for today.
You are the best.
It was such a hard setup, but it was worth it in the end.
I bet they didn't have to twist your arm that much.
Yeah. Whoops. Never mind.
Hilarious.
By the way, did you know that there's actually a lion Pokemon? As a matter of fact, I'll show it to you.
I thought that one you showed us was the lion Pokemon.
No, it is lion-like, but it's a combination of a bunch of different things. But it's not a straight-up actual lion. And it's actually, hold on. Let's start with the pre-evolved form because it's the one that resembles Simba more. Oh, actually, there's a picture with all three of them. Hold on. Let me just quickly screen share. Okay, so they are normal fire types. Okay, it's important. It's important to mention that they are normal fire Pokemon.
They look adorable.
Yeah, you got the little lion cub, and like there's a female and a male lion because obviously there's a lion and a lioness. And what I really appreciate about this Pokemon in particular is that you always have a much higher chance of getting the female and a very, very small insignificant chance of finding the male because obviously there's like one lion per pride for 50, 20 lionesses. And the little baby lion cub is called Leo, which is a little lion. The evolved forms are called pyro. It's like pyromancy and pyro and roar because it's a lion. They roar.
I gotta admit, I really like the mane on the male. I think it looks pretty badass.
Yeah, see, the game that I mentioned earlier, the one that I'm playing, I got into a place where you can actually find the little ones, and I spent an obscene amount of time trying to find a specific male one so that I can evolve it into the male version because I prefer the mane. Nothing against the female one. It's just lions are my favorite. Lions are my favorite animals.
So for shits and giggles, I was like, let's see if I could get a plushie. So I went on Amazon Canada. Let me show you what came up in the search.
Oh, God.
So as you can see, right? Right?
Yeah.
Then this.
Oh, how?
How?
How and why? Not that I'm complaining, but how and why?
That's Pokemon After Hours.
Ooh.
That's no longer PG Pokemon.
You know what I like? And
that monster is no longer in your pocket.
you know what I like?
I got one more joke. So there's these all kinds of items that are basically they're called vitamins. They got this like protein, iron, zinc.
Viagra.
Yeah, no. You will not ruin this joke for me. So, anyways, every single one of those vitamins raise a specific stat of Pokemon. One raises your speed, one raises your attack, all kinds of stuff. Now, obviously, there's like HP and PP. HP is hit points, PP is power points. How many times you can use an attack over and over. Now, obviously, there's vitamins that raise your HP. It's called HP up. And you also have a PP up that can raise your...
Very nice.
Yeah.
For the adults in the audience.
Yeah. And that's why there's this meme over here was like, once your Kirlia evolves into Gardevoir, PP up. And if you're wondering what a Gardevoir is, hold on. Please do not try this at home. Do not look for Gardevoir fan art. See this? Do not look this up. Just go with the regular average Gardevoir. This is what Gardevoir looks like.
That looks like somewhat of a Tim Burton film.
Yeah, a little bit. And also, another quick warning to all you kids in the audience, whatever you do not look up Lopunny art on, Lopunny fan art. Do not look that up because this is a Lopunny. Hold on, let me just try to find the regular one. This is what a Lopunny looks like. It is Pokemon literally based on a Playboy bunny.
Seriously?
Yes, because they went there. They actually went there.
Those are some big ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's loosely based on the lop-eared bunny, which is a bunny with long ears that kind of fall to the ground. But
man, they are very depraved over there in Japan.
Anyway, this is a Pokemon. Just saying. Okay, moving on.
I have a question. In that same thing, I'm guessing it was Generation 2 because I remember this. They have daycare. When you can
don't even get me started on that.
What?
Don't even get me started on that.
Oh, do tell.
A male and a female in one day, and in the next day, at a daycare, you can pick up an egg.
Yes. And the funniest thing about it is the man at the daycare that you pick up the egg from is like, oh, you'll never guess what happened. I went to check on your Pokemon, and they were holding an egg. Where did that come from? How did that happen? But speaking of which, if you, again, it's another rabbit hole, but if you actually look up Pokemon breeding groups, because they have this thing called egg groups, which means you don't necessarily need to have two Pokemon from the same species. You can have Pokemon from the same egg group. In other words, Pokemon that are biologically compatible with one another.
So basically, eugenics.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But the main problem is, and it's sort of become a joke at this point, but you see this? This is Wailord. It's the biggest Pokemon in existence. Okay? Because it's a whale, obviously. It's a blue
How do you
whale.
keep that in that ball?
I don't know, because it's a magic ball. I have no idea. But in any case,
I was going to ask, like, how does in world? How does the ball work?
well, you gotta understand, it's a game mechanic. It started out as a game mechanic, now it just became, the thing that you use to catch a Pokemon. But basically, like, the way they explain it is once a Pokemon gets captured by a Pokeball, they become digitized energy that goes inside a ball, which can be, and it's energy, it's data. They can be any size.
I have to think, and kind of like the tortoise, where it looks bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Okay.
Well, yes and no, because like I said, they're energy. Once they become energy, they can become any size they need to be.
See,
But anyways, the where I was going with this is Wailord. You can see that's the size of this thing next to a human, and because it's a whale and therefore a mammal, it belongs in the field egg group. And in the field egg group, which is the largest egg group in the game, there are a lot of animals that Pokemon that it can breed with, including this thing, which is a little kitty. So this gigantic whale can actually breed with a little cat and lay an egg.
That's a stretch. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Also, Pikachu is in that group, so that giant whale can breed with a Pikachu. And remember, it's a fish. It's a water type, so it's weak to electric. So if Pikachu gets too turned on, it could potentially kill it.
Yikes. You know what the Pokeball reminds me of? It reminds me of the Proton, not the Proton Pack, the fucking the trap from Ghostbusters.
Ah, okay.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because they become protoplasmic energy, and like I said, energy can be in any size.
Digitized in this one, yeah.
When is that movie coming out? Do we know?
What, the new Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I'm sorry for bringing that up, but
Dude, this is shooting the breeze. It rails pretty quickly.
Yeah, never apologize for putting Ghostbusters into a conversation.
Damn right. So according to Google, November 11th.
Oh, it makes sense.
We should be okay by then. I'm hoping anyway.
Please?
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean,
if I can just... What?
I mean, I'm really excited for that movie. It looks great.
Yeah.
I like that it's the son of the original director directing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, which means I wouldn't be surprised if Catherine Reitman has a cameo in it.
Well, I think they're bringing back all three.
Everyone except Moranis and, of course, Ramus.
And, what's his name coming back?
Sigourney? I believe she is.
No, not Sigourney. The
secretary?
I'm
She
not.
was in the 2016 version.
What?
She was in the 2016 version. The
That's
actress
right.
to Big Name.
I didn't hate that movie. Was it good? No,
It was fun. It was fun.
She's on the cast list.
Ooh.
They all
Nice.
are. They all are except for Moranis.
I bet he shows up. I bet.
If he shows up,
Awesome.
if he shows up, that's the Luke Skywalker moment from
Oh, fuck yeah.
The Mandalorian. Like,
He's one of my favorite characters.
it would have been one of the best kept secrets in Hollywood history.
Did you guys see last year? And then, right before the pandemic, I believe. Why? No, Rick Moranis. Right, no. Ryan Reynolds was doing a commercial for it.
Yeah.
And he actually got Rick Moranis to come in on it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Moranis is slowly starting to come back. He was Martin Scorsese did a documentary on SCTV, which is kind of like a Canadian version of I I guess SNL, it's a Canadian sketch comedy show, which is where Eugene Levy and John Candy and Andrea Martin and Catherine O'Hara got their big breaks, and so was Martin Short on there and Rick Moranis as well. That's where Bob and Doug McKenzie came from. He was doing a documentary film on it, and he brought him back for that.
If we have Scorsese to thank for bringing Moranis back into our lives.
Yeah,
he can say whatever he wants about the Marvel movies. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, no kidding. At this point, like Rick Moranis really does. He can stay retired if he wants. Like, kudos to him for doing what he did. But I mean, his reason for retiring, I'm assuming his children are all grown up at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the door is obviously open. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. He's coming back for the fucking Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah, right. Shrunk. The name of that. Yes. That movie.
I hope that comes out. Yeah,
I rewatched those movies last year during quarantine. They're not bad. Yeah, and he was in an episode of the Goldbergs.
Yes,
the Goldbergs is.
Oh, he did the voice of Dark Helmet. Okay.
Dark Helmet.
Okay. But did he actually came back to do the voice, or was it
just the voice?
He did the voice.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Makes sense you bring him back for that.
Rick Moranis is a Canadian treasure. He really is. Like he's a legend. Like I said, I love the character of Louis Tully from Ghostbusters. Just this guy who's always trying to have all the hip stuff, trying to impress everybody. He's just a fucking total dork while doing it.
I think my favorite Rick Moranis role is him in Parenthood.
I still haven't seen that movie.
You should.
Yeah, and of course, Bob and Doug McKenzie, the hosers, eh? Like, my God, those guys are hysterical. Speaking
of ghosts, to try to bring it back to the Pokemon conversation, you guys know that I mentioned this in every of our shows at the end of the show that I'm doing like a series on Twitch. Yeah, I'm trying to beat all of Pokemon Shield.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
I was too. So I'm only using a Shedinja for that game. Now, you guys you probably don't know why that is so difficult. Am I right?
Not a clue.
No.
Okay, so let me just quickly bring it up. So this is the Pokemon Shedinja. Like I said, speaking of ghosts, This is a ghost bug type.
Is that a Halo?
Yes. Or at least that's meant to be one. Now, would you ask yourself, what is so special about this Pokemon?
Yeah.
This Pokemon has a very, very unique gimmick. Let's put it that way. And part of the gimmick is that it only has 1 HP. Meaning, if it takes one hit, it's dead.
Okay, no wonder that's freaking hard and you're getting frustrated.
Yeah. It has 1 HP. However, there is a different side to that. The flip, there we go. Shedinja, 1 HP. Level 20, 1 HP. There is, however, like I said, a flip side to that is that it has a very unique ability. The ability is called Wander Guard, and it's an ability that only lets it take damage from attacks that it's weak to.
Oh.
Because, Pokemon has this whole balancing, like rock, paper, scissors stuff. This thing beats that thing, but it resists the other thing, that sort of a thing. So if it resists something or, it's just not weak to something, passes by it, doesn't even notice it. Like, it's immune to everything except 5 specific types that it's weak against, which are fire, rock, flying, ghost, and dark. Those are the only things that can affect this Pokemon. If it's attacked by any of these 5 types, it's dead. Anything else, doesn't even notice it. The unfortunate side effect of that is that it can also get poisoned, or, it can take damage from environment stuff like hails or sandstorms. And as I've discovered on my previous stream yesterday, you can also take damage from abilities from other Pokemon that can cause damage after the battle. So that was a nice discovery last night. 2 nights ago, I can remember. But
Is there an evolution to that Pokemon?
No, it is the final evolution. See, here's what one of the reasons I love this Pokemon so much is the creativeness that went into this thing. Because, like I said, Pokemon, the creativity is nearly endless. And the thing is, with this Pokemon, this is the pre-evolved form. It's called Nincada.
Looks
It's
like a
ninja.
or a grasshopper.
It's a ninja cicada. It's a cicada. It's the larvae form of a cicada, and cicadas, once they come of age, they kind of shed their skin and they grow wings and become sort of this thing. It's ninjas. It's an adult cicada with like ninja mask and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a very special gimmick to how to obtain this Pokemon in the first place. Like if the Nincada reaches level 20, it evolves into Ninjask. However, if it reaches level 20, you have an empty spot on your party, as in your party is not full, like you don't have a full team of 6, you have 5 or less while this Pokemon evolves. And if you have a spare Pokeball in your backpack, you basically get 2 Pokemon for the price of 1. You get the Ninjask and the Shedinja. That's how you get it. It basically goes into the whole point of the cicadas shedding their skin. So it's the shed skin of the cicada.
Oh, it's kind of
the cicada itself becomes another Pokemon, but the empty husk that it came out of also becomes a Pokemon. That's why it's Ghost and Bug, because it's a dead bug.
Yeah,
and that's where the name Shedinja came from. It's the shed skin, and it's also a ninja.
Kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, but for going back to the Twitch thing that I'm trying to do is the strategy is to try to put most, if not all, your energy, like I said earlier, with the vitamins that increase certain stats. You got to put all of that into speed. Make sure you outspeed everyone so that you can attack them first and take them out in one hit before they get a chance to attack you.
It's pretty cool.
Maybe
No. What?
It's kind of like caffeine pills.
Oh my God, Ben! It's a Saved by the Bell reference.
Oh, that's why I didn't get it.
I'm assuming are you familiar with Saved by the Bell?
Only by name.
Okay, so in the second season, there is an incredibly infamous episode called Jesse's Song, where the girls end up forming a pop group, and Zach is their manager. But Jesse's, she's also like the book nerd. She's always top dog in school and all that stuff. And to combat all the pressure that she's under, she starts taking caffeine pills, and she becomes addicted to them. And to the point where she's late for a show. Zach walks in, she's asleep, really out of it, like pretty much drugged out of her mind. And she's like, "Oh shit, I'm late." And she tries to take these pills, and no, don't take it. Pretty much, she goes into Caffeine Pills Anonymous. So basically, the reason why it's caffeine pills is because originally it was written as speed, but the censors at the NBC at the time didn't want that, so literally just swapped it for caffeine pills. That's why it is so ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay, I get the joke. I'm not saying it's funny, but I still get the joke.
It's one of those like that is such a dumb thing, but it's an iconic thing from the show at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I had it.
They bring it up for caffeine free.
What did you say?
I said that's to the point where they bring it up in the reboot. 25 years caffeine free.
Yeah.
Or I guess 30 years. Yeah.
So just one final point. I mentioned what I'm doing here on Twitch. I'd like to take a little bit of a moment just for myself. Like this whole episode was mostly intended to celebrate Pokemon, but I also like to bring a little bit of awareness to something that I'm working on. As you mentioned earlier, I live in Israel, and I have recently been inspired by this YouTuber by the name of Loxton and Noggin. Check him out. He's a great person. He decided to make a Pokemon fan game, a fan region, based on where he lives, the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, cool.
So he basically took a lot of inspirations and ideas from the surrounding areas, from Washington, Colorado, and a little bit of Florida, a little bit of California, and a little bit of Canada, by the way. Just wanted to point that out. Basically took a lot of ideas from it and just decided to make a Pokemon game based on it. And I saw that, and I was inspired to make my own Pokemon fan game based on Israel, the country that I live in. And I do have a Patreon, which both these fine gentlemen are subscribed to. And I just wanted to, here's a little something that I don't think I ever showed to anyone. Definitely not anyone from the Patreon.
Ooh, an exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusive for this show. This is the current Pokédex that I have for my region. As you can see, you have these. These are the grass starters. If you can start to go all the way down, you get the fire starters. These are all artworks that my artist that I commissioned on Fiverr, he drew for me over the course of the last couple of months. And the artworks are always released to the patrons, especially early look at how these designs started out and how they sort of the evolution of these things. So this is just a little bit of treat that I wanted to put on this show right here. These are all the Pokemons that I currently have artworks of. A lot of these were very recent. These are
what's that one?
What?
The one that looks like a turnip. The last one.
This was one of the more recent ones that I released to the Patreon. It's
but I mean, like, holy, yeah. So explain that one to the audience, because that's an interesting one.
It's an orange, but it's also a doctor. Going back to the idea of taking two things and mashing them together, because oranges are healthy for you.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the doctor. It's got the face mask, which was made out of the peel. It's got the stethoscope. It's got the gloves, and the name, which is one of the most creative names that I came up with. As you can see, it's called Dercy. Now, if you ask why, DR is short for doctor, obviously. C is kind of from vitamin C.
Oh, okay.
It's an orange, and it's short for the doctor will see you now.
Oh, that's fucking genius.
Yeah, I like that.
So these are just the type of things you can expect on my Patreon. And as you can see, I have a bunch of Pokemon over here that I have the names, the types, and everything. What I don't have is the artwork, obviously, because it's a work in progress. And as you can see, I still have a few that I still need to come up with. But over here we have the legendaries, the box art legendaries, and the kind of the sub-legendary category that are all completed. And and over here at the very bottom are like 12 extra mythicals that I'm going to come up with later. But right now they're not so much a priority.
Pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is sign up for the Patreon.
Yeah. So what's the name of the Patreon?
Patreon. If you can actually put a link to it and the description of the show, that would be very helpful. It's called Pokemon Star, Cross, and Crescent. Or you can just look up 50 Shades of Geek on the Patreon main channel. It'll send you directly into my Patreon page. One final thing I wanted to show is the map of the region, which is like a version of Israel that the artist and I kind of came up with together. As you can see, I kind of took the basic shape of Israel. I moved some of the mountains from over here to over here. I added the island of Cyprus and kind of inverted it, changed it a little bit. But this is what the map is going to look like. This is all on the Patreon. I think I actually put the map itself on the Patreon. It was before I started.
I've seen them. I have seen this map before.
Yeah.
But these are just some of the cool things that you can expect to see on my Patreon. If also Matt, since Matt is starting with Ben is at the $5 tier. Not only he gets access to these artworks, he also has his name, Ben Rayner, as one of the characters in the game. It's like an NPC trainer that you can battle. Matt, because he's in a $10 patron level, he's going to have his appearance be in the game as one of the characters. And to be honest, I actually came up with a creative name. So like your name in the game is going to be Soda the Saxman.
Damn rights.
For obvious reasons. And it's going to look exactly like you. And so that's the $3 patrons get just the artwork. $5 patrons get their names to be in the game. $10 patrons get to be actual characters in the game. 25 level patrons can suggest ideas, and $50 patrons, which I do have one patron right now at the $50 tier, my dad, can be co-producers, I can't think of the name right now, it's 6 a.m, but like co-producers of, co-creators of the game. Their names will be on the marquee, and every suggestion they have will definitely be considered for the game.
Right on.
And a little bit of a tease. I have planned this out. I'm going to put the big man himself in the game.
No way.
John Schnapp will be an NPC trainer in the game.
That's awesome. I can't wait. Are you going to call him John Schnapp, or are you going to have
I was thinking of just naming him the big man.
Oh.
Because it kind of fits in with like a little minor storyline that I'm setting up for him.
Works better than the big sweaty.
Yes. That's too much of an inside joke.
Yeah, yes, a little bit. Well, on that note, since you said it is 6 a.m. where you are, 50, besides your Patreon, where can everybody else find you?
You can find me, as I mentioned, on Twitch, which I am going to take a bit of a break from the Shedinja stuff to focus on, like I said, 25th anniversary of Pokemon tomorrow. I'm planning to do a very long stream, probably the longest one I've ever done. I'm just gonna go to the Crown Tundra. I'm gonna just do Dynamax adventures for a couple of hours, trying to find shiny legendary Pokemon in the Crown Tundra. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. And I also have a secondary channel, 50 Shades of Gaming, where I do mostly gaming stuff, and I'm also taking all of the stuff from the Shedinja stuff. I'm going to edit them out into like mini 20 minutes to 30-minute episodes of the entire series on the gaming channel, 50 Shades of Gaming.
All right.
You can also find me on this channel right here every Saturday with these two fine gentlemen and another fine person, Saul Govin, not Goivin.
I'll get it right sometime. Ben, what about you?
You can find me right here every Thursday on Shooting the Breeze with Matt here. Every Friday on Recapping the Past again with Matt. Every Saturday, like 50 said, on a flagship show, Get Ready, with Leash 2 and Soul. Every Sunday on Ben's Hot Takes. And every Saturday on Mount Schmodown, my Schmodown show on a different channel.
All right. Yeah, you got them all right. You're getting this. You're getting them all in now.
I don't have to spell check you for those anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And as these gentlemen have already said, you can find me all over the place on this channel. You can also find me on my other YouTube channel, Schmoes of the North, where me and my friends Daniel, Dave, and Lou, we do break down the week in Schmodown. We also interview people from all over the place. And I want to throw a special shout out to the last episode of Northern Consultations with Jada Paramo, but we do have a very special guest that is one of the weirdest things you'll ever see. I highly recommend go watching that. It was a trip to watch.
Ooh.
And, yeah, I'll tell you about it in the afterwards 50. And of course, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman, which is where 50 got the name. And on that note, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week on Shooting the Breeze. And don't forget, everybody, smash cancer and stay sweaty.
Smash cancer.
Smash cancer.